opposition. And yet, even half a day, in fact, a quarter of a day in opposition, and yet. So, Sisiano, yeah, planning and thinking, Bojuma, so that we can come back to government. Because the MPP government, no, yen say, in terms of managing the country economically and socially, no, we have always done better than the NDC. So it doesn't look good, say, we are in opposition. I think that I say, hurry up, put the party in shape and return to government and do what we have always done best for our country. So this is, for now, this is what I have to say about opposition.
Okay, there are people suggesting more better opposition power because of the numbers and what they call electoral defeat. You know, how long and how fast and quick do you think the party will come to power?
Almost suggestion, no, fairly no. Me say maybe you are right because in the history of this country, it's our defeat we yanye bida. A parliament move called parliamentary election. And at the end of the parliamentary election, the leader of politics in Ghana, and one of the most important political parties in Africa, out of 276 parliamentary contests in the local constituencies, now 88 seats. It means that one man, the opposition, a blank check.
Yeah.
So by that wisdom, no, opposition, no, without any serious opposition scrutiny.
Yeah.
In the governance system. So I'm sure says those kinds of people know that is the way of thinking or thinking. But that's not the case. Yet to me, boy home and work hard and fix the party and get the correct and very brave and courageous leadership. I'm sure say 2028 you be bounce back.
Okay. Before so be bounce back no, you have to know what led to your defeat in the first place. Mahuse Masete committee aura Aaron Michael Kweda no ne other members some person mo probe the real reasons. But to you as a leading member of the party, even before the probe invites you, no, what do you think caused a catastrophic defeat?
First of all, say about 4 weeks ago, National Chairman announced January obesity committee.
Right.
Now National Council obesity committee to investigate a defeat. No. In fact, how can we attend a press conference at our party headquarters? Me throw a very short piece and shared it on social media, any other portal. Say our committee no, and you're necessary because Moko investigated what we already know. Now, obia every serious MPP member, MPP officer, MPP volunteer, any MPP worker. Why we lost this election terribly. Now, Uko Seti committee to investigate what we already know. Now, for me, a waste of resources.
You and who?
Obia. The General Secretary. For example, the General Secretary has been saying, the reason why Lucy is because we're not fair to our party people and treat you very well. Now, in some cases, he even said, which is the biggest joke in the world, also a spiritual. Yeah. The General Secretary has said that. I think that is an indictment on the position for him to speak the way he spoke. Say, hey, spiritual. Enumerating reasons are Lucy, including lack of support for your party people. Some of the party people did not work very hard, especially the leadership of their party in the various government institutions, chief executives, any MDs and co. Campaign and my party, and then you turn around to say, we have lost spiritually. What is spiritual about this? There is absolutely no evidence to suggest what the General Secretary is.
So you don't believe in spirituality?
It's false. In fact, it is the biggest cover-up for a General Secretary to speak the way he spoke. No, I think that it is unfortunate.
Okay.
And I think the party people deserve an apology.
Okay.
Because only why we lost. There are two reasons why we lost. Number one reason,
Two reasons.
Okay. Just two reasons. Number one, the failure of the absolute failure of the current national officers of the party.
Okay.
They failed. In fact, performance in their mandate is the most shambolic, very abysmal performance. Now, so that is number one.
All of them.
All of them, from the national chairman right down to anybody.
Okay.
Now, maybe in the course of the conversation, memo details why I think they have failed.
No.
And the other one is the way and manner the former president conducted himself in government.
You mean Nanado?
So the details of that,
the former president of Bibri Nanado now? Okay.
No, the immediate past former president Nanado Denko Kufuor. I don't think he conducted himself very well, and therefore an effective partner. So these are the two reasons. But under the two reasons, there are other issues that might discuss it if there is time would permit us.
I would want us to run through the itemized and nearby.
Okay, so Rebecca about Akufo-Addo first.
Okay.
Number one, who said now he was very Brunisi impervious. Impervious say the concerns of Ghanaians. Say Ghanaians kasa. He has got to listen because some mandate you secured it from Ghanaians.
Yeah.
Ghanaians never too. In fact, you got your job as president because Ghanaian people hired you.
Okay.
And therefore, if the citizens or more kasa say wunchi. So number one, cabinet reshuffle. A very, very important measure would assess your government.
Okay.
Now running government for several months, up to close to about 2-3 years. Now amount for calling for cabinet reshuffle because at that time now the government was actually struggling.
Okay.
And then so only make it reshuffle, just ignore the calls. But you can't say anybody calling for cabinet reshuffle is looking for a job. I think disparaging remarks, it offended a lot of Ghanaians.
Okay.
Over 90 MPP members of parliament in 2022, I think in the middle of 2022, almost started a conversation around the fact that the economy now the leader, the finance minister, should step aside so that they can get a more capable, a more competent finance minister to take over. Omo pursue the president, follow the president. The president more chance. It was until later, about 6 months later, Omo hold the press conference, and then the president invited them to say, they are more kana mate, but we are in the IMF program. And I say IMF program no go it through. I would remove the finance minister. The first tranche of the money I received from IMF, I think it was in May 19th, thereabout, around the first month, which was about $600 million we received. It means that effectively by May or by the beginning of May, the IMF program has come to an end.
Okay.
So it was incumbent on the president to have fulfilled his promise. Yeah. To the members of parliament, say IMF program has come to an end. So, Mr. Finance Minister, find your way. They pursued, and the call was all over the country, including senior members of the MPP who spoke publicly and privately. In fact, I will give my general secretary a plus here because he was publicly heard also calling for the removal of the finance minister. But Akufo-Addo did not care. He did not respect the views of the Ghanaian people, especially the MPP people who supported him to get the job he did.
Okay.
So he didn't do it. It was just around February 2024 thereabouts, some 10 to 11 months to election.
Yeah.
And then he did some reshuffle and removed him. Now, all removing, the insult. What infuriated Ghanaians more was that one pound the crowd, a very huge appointment as a senior presidential advisor on finance, and then he was also the envoy to the international investment and capital markets.
What promoted?
The finance minister he said he was a local or domestic finance minister because Juma abroad you have given it to your cousin again. I think that it was also not right.
Okay.
It was a sign of disrespect for other business. Now, your traditional authorities, this one there, you should know how Akufo-Addo effectively requested that your traditional authorities should stand up and greet him. Obia free traditional area. Obia. You are Ghanaians, but we come from different traditional area. We respect our chiefs. Now, for a president to come to my community and tell my chief or city in state to stand up and greet him, that president will never get my vote. It doesn't matter whether you're MPP president or NDC president. The president will, it's a disrespect for our traditional authority.
Okay.
Now, the governance is hinged on tradition, because the traditional authorities sometimes very, very difficult for your government officials, especially at the local level, to deliver. Now, if you disrespect and undermine your traditional authorities the way Akufo-Addo did, it became a problem.
Did anybody speak up publicly, including yourself? Because this was repeatedly done.
A number of people spoke up. On this particular matter, I didn't speak out publicly, but a number of people spoke out publicly. It was on radio, people were talking. And you see,
people in MPP.
Yes, a lot of MPP people spoke.
Okay.
And you see, it is not even MPP. You have to respect the Ghanaian voice.
Yeah.
You are not an MPP president. You are the president of the Republic of Ghana.
Right.
Now, every Ghanaian citizen or your subject. Now say, they are not happy and they are speaking. You've got to listen to me,
right?
So people spoke. So now an issue. The other thing I found quite bad.
Okay.
Affecting the process was the traveling of this special presidential chair. I think that it was totally needless. He should not do that. Now, sometimes you have to humble yourself as a leader, and then you can galvanize the energies of it was bad. It was terrible. Very, very terrible. Now, I had spoken to 2 senior members of the party, and then they told me that they will speak to him. They didn't speak to him, or they had spoken to him now, because he kept carrying the chair. What was the need for that?
Maybe spiritual.
No, there shouldn't be any spirituality around that. The people like you. That is why they gave you the mandate. Nobody's going to do anything to you. Now, spirituality will only. In fact, that I don't even believe in that thing. For some reason, it is not right. Now, why didn't he bring the chair on the day of the inauguration of John Mahama?
So a free power.
So it means there is nothing spiritual about it, because you are looking. You were thinking, say, a different chair, so that something will happen to you. So it was a big issue of this chair matter. Then the e-levy. E-levy. MPP supporters all over the country said no. The vice president of the Republic of Ghana on Peace FM was saying, implementing program now ebe Ghanaian citizens are poor. But they went ahead and implemented e-levy. A day to the election, can you believe that all running campaign to seek the mandate of the Ghanaian people, and a day to the election work of increasing fuel prices? I have never seen this kind of strategy before. Very failed strategy. Government who run election, a day to election work of increasing fuel prices. I think it was uncalled for. A higher. 3 months to the election in October, the PURC almost increasing tariffs on water and electricity. What kind of governance is that? Government, you are seeking the mandate of the people, and then few months to the election, so all these things were issues that decisions our government to take care affect here. If you look at the non-payment of NAPCO recruits stipends, youth in afforestation, national service personnel, teacher and nursing trainee students, all these arrears are on for several months now. It happened because these people were talking. Now, how much did you need to pay them? And the finance minister didn't pay them. But this same finance minister is able to dish out about nearly $40 million and pay a company which is linked to Edwina and Jan Krumah. You remember Service Auto Ghana Limited, ambulance issues. Yes, we are told 5 days before Ken Ofori-Atta left office, he had approved payment of nearly 39 million, a little over $39 million to the company. When other Ghanaian citizens are country, they've been working for several months. I think NAPCO was about 8 to 9 months, and then they were not paid. So all these things and then it became a problem. And then his body language and his mannerism was very, very poor too. You know, when chiefs come to you to talk to you about area of development, you don't tell them that, because you haven't voted my person and on the basis in my area, you are a leader. You don't speak like that. So so this way, apart from that, I mean, in terms of policy issues, in terms of governance issues, in terms of the way you manage social issues, no, I think that we did well as a
but the economy
as a
was
government.
the main.
But the economy became a problem.
Okay.
And sa nka oyi kenoforiata longer and brought me a much more competent person nka economy. You remember the last few days of Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam. Things started working well, and he got the praises from civil society organizations in the country and even the boss of the IMF. And that is what we expect. Says Nka Akufo-Addo yi kenoforiata 2 years ago before the elections. I think that even if we're going to lose election, can lose it the way Lucy. So that is the issue of the government.
What can say about Akufo-Addo dey? But one but the candidate that went into the elections, because one of the key issues among for the two about was dollar, because they affected businesses and trade, and the person who spearheaded $1, 1 CD, $4, 4 CDs, $1, then dollar to 17, almost 18. Was the economic management team headed by the vice president who went into the election as a candidate, because all the BB also Akufo-Addo.
No, nobody can defend that. There is a Akufo-Addo government led by him. They run a cabinet government in this country.
Right.
And the leader of cabinet is Akufo-Addo. He run a presidential governance in this country. The constitution, the president, the mandate to do. So if who bring his suggestion and the president doesn't want the suggestion to work, suggestion one typical example Dr. Bawumia ko katre Peace FM for any Ghanaians say e-levy poor people.
Yes.
Now weeks later there was e-levy. You think Dr. Bawumia was going to be happy with that? He's not going to be happy.
Do you think he was sidelined?
He was absolutely sidelined. He was sidelined. Everybody not knew he was. He's the only person who would deny that he wasn't sidelined, because I know his nature.
So why would he lie?
No, he would just deny that he wasn't sidelined, because his nature is that he doesn't really offend people. So he will not. He will say he was. But I know, and everybody know in this country that he was sidelined, because the economy was virtually run by the finance minister and the president and some few non-government officials around the president. Now, running economy. So, exchange rates difficult, Who say no MPP person can defend it. Now, who be defend this? It means that you need God to lead in the communication to defend it. It was horrible. We didn't do well in that area. And the reason why we didn't do well in that area is because Dr. Bawumia was not listened to. Amount for BBC economic management team. Economic management is an advisory body.
Okay.
And I tell you, today the vice president of the Republic of Ghana today, say by convention, or he will be the chairperson of the economic management team.
Right.
And then she will understand that as our body, is just an advisory. In fact, the non-existent of the economic management team, it is not unconstitutional not to have it. So our economic management team is just an advisory body for the president. Now, the advice no bar. It's up to the president to either take the advice or not take it.
You are a leading member. You are still a leading member of the party. There are calls. You people have suddenly become outspoken because na musro se mo bekasa under the president. Nti ente se mo ka about enema we nyina wo kan na yi. You were still defending, not you, but the party kept on defending all these things that happen here.
No.
Why have you become outspoken?
In my case, I'm not correct.
Okay.
A couple of times. So I give an example. On the 22nd of July.
Yeah.
Now this is verifiable. Who call me Facebook. It's a very popular Facebook account.
Yeah.
Me issue statement calling on the president to pay NAPCO people, youth in afforestation, school caterers, and so on and so forth. I issued a statement.
Right.
It would take a very courageous government appointee to issue such a statement.
Okay.
So I issued it.
That is one.
Then, when the PURC increase prices, no. You remember increase prices, no, in October.
Yes.
Me issue another statement, and I'm sure my boys can pull up the statement on my Facebook wall. And I even described that stupid. And a lot of people were angry with me, but probably the context of the way no Montias here. I said stupid because how can a government agency increase prices of goods and our services 3 months to elections? War control. Whatever be the case, this thing shouldn't have happened because it's a election. So I issued a statement and demanded for the reversal. I called on the government.
Yeah.
Demanding for the reversal of policy. No, it didn't help us. Then in October, I think October 2023, before presidential elections, we making another appeal to the yet to be elected presidential candidate to pay these people, these NAPCO people and things like that. There's so many things. Who called Gabi to order? When Gabi made, and everybody knows how powerful Gabi is in the last NPP government, the cousin of the president, some periodically referred to as Ghana's prime minister, a very powerful person in this government, and nobody could venture point accusing fingers at him. Move demanding for reshuffle. Ghanaians calling for reshuffles are across board. I'll call Facebook to write, say, it is as if a reshuffle is going to end the Ukraine war and now to bring to make the city stronger and so on and so forth. So the next day, me read this and I say, wow, this person wrote this. So I replied on my Facebook wall, and it's there, you can verify that. And I said that comment I'll make a very insensitive comment. We have election to win, and therefore comments of this nature and so one guy.
Okay.
It takes a brave person, courageous. Then now I was deputy CEO of the Forestry Commission.
Yes.
And I got calls around the country and some calls coming from abroad. Say Musa I say, look, I am happy. Say president will say that, look, Musa, leave the job because I have taken his cousin on because of your party, because now there were elections to win, and proximity to the president, and who you are in